Hello, my name is Christopher and I want to tell you a story. On April 14 in 1927, the EM90, or Jacob as it was also called, rolled out of the garage. This was the first car from the brand new car manufacturer Volvo. Today, exactly 97 years later, I am standing outside a huge building in Gothenburg, Sweden. Today is the grand opening of World of Volvo and I'm here to show you around.
Jag heter Magnus Game, är VD för World of Volvo. Ett privilegium att få öppna detta för allmänheten idag.
This is really a fantastic place to be in with all the wood and everything. It's actually some light bulbs here is from the old Saab factory where they made gearboxes that was placed here in Gothenburg on this spot. So they have actually saved some of those, which is nice. It was designed by a Danish architecture company called Henning Larsen, and the restaurant here is run by Michelin star chef Stefan Karlsson. And here it is, the car that started everything. At its first test drive, it could only reverse. It was due to the rear axle gear that had been installed incorrectly, not the type of start of a car brand that you want. It was also very costly at 4,800 Swedish kronos, about 400 euros, but they sold over 200 of them during the first year. This is Volvo LV4, the first bus from the manufacturer. It was built in 1928 and used the same motor as the EM4, a 4-cylinder with 28 horsepower. This was enough for a bus as the speed limit was 20 kilometers an hour. The bus had room for 15 people on board. This is a personal favorite of mine, the Volvo 121, or the Amazon as it's called in the Nordics. In 1959, this was the first car in the world to have a 3-point seatbelt as standard. Volvo made just about 667,000 cars. It had a 4-cylinder engine with 60 horsepower. It's really a beauty, this car. But does it look as good as this one, the Volvo P1800S? I don't think so. The P1800S is a sports car like no others. The designer, Pelle Pettersson, worked with an Italian firm called Frau to get the perfect Italian sports car feeling. The car also got the new for 1961 B18 engine with up to 100 horsepower. A total of 39,414 cars were made. This specific model have done over 5 million kilometers or 3 million miles, which was a world record in 2013. Except cars, World of Volvo is also an experience center, and there was a couple of things for kids as well. Is there any kid that would say no to control a real life-size digger? I think not. It was also possible to play memory, but instead of images, it was turn signals. You could drive a car and learn more about distraction, use a VR headset to park a boat without crashing, or find balance in life using a disc. So being in a crash is not something anyone wants, and Volvo was showing here how the force is done when in different speeds based on height. So the example here is that you fall from this height It's same as a 15 kilometers an hour without seatbelt. Then we move up a bit and we go to 20 kilometers an hour. And then we have 30 kilometers an hour up there. So here is the desk where it all happened, where Assar Gabrielsson and Gustav Larsson decided that they should build a Swedish automobile company that says safety and quality before anything else. Here we have a ball bearing made by SKF here in Gothenburg in 1915. This model is called Volvo, which in Latin means I roll, and this is where Volvo got its name from. The book Unsafe at Any Speed by Laura Ralph Nader was released in 1965. The book made the society starting to talk more about traffic safety, and regulatory bodies were established. The car industry had to do their part, and Volvo built this one, the VSEC, Volvo Experimental Safety Car. It was built in 1972 and gave Volvo the pole position for safety. Things we take for granted today could be found in this car, like airbags, anti-lock brakes, a rear-view camera that was shown on a CRT screen inside the car, and a bumper that was super long. It was designed to survive a frontal collision at 80 kilometers an hour. In 1976, Volvo made the first electric car. This is a prototype, nothing that was ever sold. The plan was to use the cars for delivering mail in the cities without generating emissions. It is 286 centimeters long, used lead-acid batteries under the floor, and have a 13 horsepower motor on the rear axle. Top speed was 70 kilometers an hour, but recommended speed was 50. It had a range of about 50 kilometers. The 850 was groundbreaking in so many ways. This was the start of the front-wheel drive, 5-cylinder engine, an innovative gearbox, a smart rear axle, and much more. This is also the car I was dreaming of when I was growing up in the 90s. I had one on the wall and I was 100% confident that this would be my first car. It wasn't. It was a Volvo S60 2.4T. This specific model is the 850 T5R from 1995 with a turbocharged engine producing 240 horsepower under the hood. A car I will never stop wanting, as a wagon of course, I'm still from Sweden. The Volvo C30 Electric is from 2012 and had an 81 kWh motor with a 24 kWh battery. You could go up to 150 km according to any DC. The car was built in limited numbers and was never a hit. Have you seen the epic split made by Jean-Claude Van Damme? Here you can try it for yourself in a part of the center where Volvo is showing off many of their old commercials all the way back to the 1940s. In total they have about 50 cars right now during this exhibition, but Volvo have over 350 cars in their collection, and the exhibition will be replaced throughout the year to show different types of cars. At the entrance they have the newest cars on display, the EX30, EX90 and the EM90. As we don't have the EM90 in Europe, I decided to take a closer look at the car. It is built on Geely's CEA1 platform, same as the Zeekr 009, another MPV but from Zeekr. The Zeekr 001 is also built on the CEA1 platform, as well as the new Polestar 4. The EM90 has a 116 kWh battery and 200 kW motor or 272 horsepower rear-wheel drive. The range is 739 kilometers according to CLTC, which should be about 600 kilometers according to WLTP. In the front we have a driver display as well as a 15.4-inch screen in the middle, in landscape format. This is a luxurious car and you can really feel that when you're sitting in the front seat. Or seat, it was more like sitting in a nice armchair. The steering wheel looked like the one in the Seeker 001, but with edges, and the wood and the core is the same as that can be found in the EX90. Very elegant. In the rear we actually had armchairs that felt great. Here you can relax with a movie on the 15.6-inch screen that comes down from the roof. You could also pull back the armrest to show a control panel where you control your chair. Want massage? Feeling hot? Want to get leg support? In the door you had a clock and touch buttons on the actual wood that controlled the window. From the rear you could also see the third row, which also meant that the trunk wasn't that big. This is a car that is sold in China, and there are currently no plans for Europe when I talked with my Volvo contact. And with that I want to say thank you for watching this first look at World of Volvo. I hope you get the chance to go here yourself. It's a really amazing place, and I haven't showed you half of it even, because there's so much to do here, especially if you have kids. It's a really cool family visit. Have a nice one, and I'll see you in another video.